All right. Hey, and welcome back to Talk of Better Worlds. This is podcast number 27. I'm Sir Felix the Cat. With me, as always, we have Hawk. How's your day going?
Oh, it's going. How about yours?
Oh, mine's wonderful. I've been going on my way to not mod games and, you know, not just,
Well,
spend hours and hours and hours doing one thing.
it hasn't begun yet. Let me look. We're at 81% on the download of Skyrim Special Edition. It will begin after the show.
Apparently, someone made a mod for Red Dead Redemption on PC, and it's Arthur is Superman, and one of the villains, I can't remember which one it is, but he's the Joker, and you're saving Batman from him.
Oh my god.
And then at the end, I guess you send you as Superman send away Batman with some money, because that's the one thing Batman needs. He's poor. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, he's a very poor man. That's
his greatest superpower is how poor he is.
Yeah, actually, he's so poor he became very strong.
Yep, that's Batman.
And he's a con man. He conned people into making the suit for him, and he conned people into his Batmobile.
Yep, happens all the time.
That's a great mod, though. This is why PCs exist, so you could take amazing games and just make them either god awful nightmares or even better.
Yep. So modding Skyrim. What else have you been playing?
So I was playing The Witcher 3 for a while. I got it up and running and stable because CDPR is really awesome. And because they had the whole next gen update and it sucked, so they actually make it really easy for you to roll it back. So I got it running, and then I just wanted to play Cyberpunk, and then I got Cyberpunk running today, but then figured out it was just all me postponing playing Skyrim, my annual Skyrim playthrough. So, but how about you?
I was playing Dragon Quest 3, and I got kind of burnt out. I don't know what level I'm supposed to be at to beat this boss, and it's just getting super annoying. I'm at the very end of the game, and I just want to be done with it. And I feel like I've read guides like, you need to be this level. It's like, dude, I'm like 10 over that, and I get murdered in like 3 rounds, like full party wipe. I'm done. So I'm doing something wrong. Well, also, I made the mistake. A very powerful shield in all the games is the mirror shield, and it's really good. It can reflect a lot of magic attacks. Yeah. However, it can also reflect heals.
Oh.
And that's what happens to me is I go to heal and it's like, oh no, it didn't work. And if I heal myself, like, because I usually cast heal all, so it heals the whole party.
Yeah.
Or Omni heal, that's what it is. So it instead of actually working on the character who cast it, it'll reflect onto the enemy and fully heal them.
Oh God, dude, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I've done that, it's like, oh, I forgot to take this off. Gotta start over. Just rage quit. Like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta you go in there and you make a mistake and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to reload before I let this play out.
Yep. But yeah, then I went on to No Man's Sky because, my favorite game of all time, and I'm building my new base, but I'm still going to eventually find another island because it took me so long, and it was kind of a fun journey going through and jumping all these different systems. Like, I actually record a playthrough of trying to get to a new base, and then I'll speed through like my building it because I mess around a lot.
Yeah. Time lapse. It's 35 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
You could easily dump that time into that game, though. It's still so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love that game. But let's get into some news. So I have some fun news to start off with. It's just funny. I like it because of the person's name in it. Okay. So an Olive Garden customer finds black letters on their breadstick, and commenters think they know why, which I'm sure everybody understands what the reason why is. These come in a plastic bag with a black printed stamping on them, and that paint sometimes goes through. It happens. You could buy food at the grocery store, and it could happen there too.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah, apparently they gave her a $100 gift card to rectify the situation. It was pretty dope. But yeah, nice. So she posted this video. Her name is Fart Bubble 69420.
This is appropriate. I would not believe anyone else.
Yep. She posted on TikTok. And yeah, it's just, guys, why is there black letters on my Olive Garden breadstick?
Well, my question is, outside of why did you make that your username? My second question is, well, I do understand why, so I guess I don't have to ask that. So my second question is, why did you eat half of it before noticing that? Like, I know I'm really vigilant with everything, so I'm especially with food and stuff. So like, I act like I'm a king about to be poisoned, even though I'm like king of dirt. But how did you pick up your garlic stick, bread, whatever the hell, and not see this on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure she went to go take a bite and someone else said like, hey, there's something on there.
Yeah, and then they probably all conspired to get some money out of Olive Garden. And hey, you know what? I mean, I'm for the people over the corporation, so get your $100 from Olive Garden.
Yeah, they're gonna get a decent meal.
Yeah, it's like one meal.
Yeah. Yep. And then so there's the hardcore metal band Knock Loose. I don't know if you want to call them hardcore metal. They're somewhere in between the two. They were on Jimmy Kimmel, and yeah, it sounds kind of odd. Like, okay, so this is a really hard band going on to Kimmel. Yeah, so they did a show and they allowed moshing and all this stuff, and it was not bad. I mean, it's cool for them. But fans of Jimmy Kimmel were not too happy about that. A lot of them were just like, this isn't even singing. They didn't know what moshing was. They were like, this isn't even dancing. And it's like, this is just hilarious. It's like these people have never heard of like this, I guess, culture before. And it's like, it's been around for years, like many, many years.
Well, so here's my question. Does this confirm that they're like all ancient boomers, like all of his fans, or are they all kids that like, I feel like you have to have the mental capacity of a child to watch too much Jimmy Kimmel. I'm sorry. But, I mean, some of his stuff is funny, I will say, but like, what is his fan base then? Is it super olds or is it super youngs? How could you
I believe it's super olds. It's the same way it's always been. Like, you'll have the people who just like to see music watch these shows, because I know I used to do it when I was younger. I'd basically just skip all of Leno and just jump in when the band's supposed to be playing, whatever performer was going to be there that night. So you partially have that, but a lot of it is the older generations. Like, just look at who was watching Leno live back in the day. It was like almost middle-aged and older.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's what I figured. It was probably just a bunch of olds. And they're like, oh, these kids, and they're screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's beautiful. I love that this happened. Someone made a mistake.
Yeah, it was. Well, the band wanted to do it. So the lead singer came out like a week later or a few days later. And he comes out and he's basically just saying like, hey, we wanted to take this band, like see how far we could take the band. Like, and I'm pretty sure live stream or live TV is probably one of the highest places we can go. And I feel like we're just getting started, which is cool. It's like, I'm sure some people would look at that and be like, oh, they're selling out. And it's like, they're just taking their band to a new level, one that other bands maybe couldn't do. Some could, but I'm sure like there's a few that would say like, oh, we don't want a record label, F you, and walk away. There was what was the name of that song? I think it was Flying Blind was the band. Have you seen My Girl?
I think so.
Early 2000s. They legitimately said like, we don't want the fame.
Yeah, well, dude, you and I with our history playing music and everything, and like just we know the scene. We haven't really gotten anywhere in the scene, but we've definitely been in it on both ends. Yeah. But it's knowing that, like, I'm sorry, anyone who gets all pissy about a band quote selling out just has no idea what the scene is like. And it's like if you want to have this be your job and your passion, you have to go with a label. You just, I mean, maybe not so much at this point today if you like blow up on Spotify or something, you know, but you have to. You just have to if you want a higher chance of going out there. And there are good labels like Pure Noise. I will stand by Pure Noise Records forever, dude.
Yeah, they have some good bands with them.
They have amazing bands.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that whole controversy was interesting. And the fact that they actually had like a real mosh pit, or they had a live crowd out there moshing to it. There were only like, I think 5 people actually moshing.
still mosh pit.
Yeah.
It still counts. If it's more than 3 people, that's my stipulation.
Yeah, pretty much.
But good on them. They made it to Jimmy Kimmel, which is an achievement. I mean, that's a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were talking about how sometimes mods can just destroy your computer, just make everything a nightmare.
Yeah.
And next gen mods specifically are trash, or these updates. So we have another one that hit the market. It was Avatar. They did the PS5 Pro patch, and you know what it did? It ruined the game.
What? Okay, this is the new like trend in the gaming industry that we're gonna see now, where all these like games that are 2 years or older getting their quote next gen update, and it just totally breaks the game.
Yep. Yep. So Digital Foundry did an article on it, which I suggest people should go read on Eurogamer.net. Yeah, it's interesting. If you don't know Digital Foundry, they're really good at breaking down games and more of the what it takes to run a game properly type side of gaming. And yeah, like it's bad. It's bad what they did. They did the opposite of what they should have. Like the PS5 Pro updated Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so it doesn't have that Vaseline glare, and it made it run smoother. Like I applaud them for that.
Yeah.
But this one basically reversed that and made it look worse and play worse. So yeah.
I don't know, like these things must not be play tested. Or if they are, they're tested on like the highest of high-end computers. And most people just don't have that. I mean, I don't know. All these next gen updates, it's not only that they break the mods, like with the Skyrim update or really the Fallout 4 update, which they still have yet to fix, and modders have kind of just given up on it from what I've seen. They break the mods, but outside of that, they usually break the game's performance. And now we're seeing it even on consoles doing that.
Yep. Yeah, and that's bad when it breaks a console.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. All right, let's move off from Sony and go on to Nintendo. So, article here from comicbook.com. The Switch 2 leak reveals first look at new Joy-Con controller. And it looks similar to it, except they're saying there's an extra button on it. So here's the controllers in the picture right there. And then here are the current Switch controllers. You can see they have the triggers right there. The one has the motion control sensor thing, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So in this picture, they're seeing this, and this is the bottom of it. And they see some like black thing here. And they're thinking it's a new like button or pedal for the controller. I mean, I personally think it's just that, but bigger and on both. That's my guess.
Dude,
but
these are just regular Switch controllers. Like that's all this is.
This is different. So they could have. This is fuzzy and terrible quality. So that very well could just be added on afterwards. I don't know why there's like some weird reflection here.
And, well, it's because this image is so baked. It's probably passed through like 500 different things before we saw it.
Yeah. But it's Etzel, or whatever you call that thing, is a little bit bigger because it's supposed to have the magnets and more clip in, and it's bigger so it stays secure inside the Switch. If any of those rumors are even remotely true.
But I mean, I guess the controllers look a little beefier, generally speaking, than current Switch controllers too. Yeah, like I think these do.
I can see a bit of difference.
Like thicker almost, maybe like more substantive. Because like to me, a controller should have weight. I love when a controller has weight.
Yeah, because like right here, it looks like it curves more than the current one does.
Yeah, so it's got like a fatter look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also this is from China, so I think it's like 25% it's real, and the rest is just probably BS.
Yep, most likely. The other thing that I'm surprised they didn't bring up again is this extra button right there. Or that would be the home button, so it's the one below it. That one.
Okay.
Because it only has the one.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, it could very well be anything.
Could
I mean,
be,
the camera's button is over here on the original one, so don't know. It could be 2 camera buttons. It could be some AI assistants. Gonna call up Siri while you're playing a game.
If this is real, then it's kind of nice to know that the Switch 2 will be kind of sticking with what works, you know?
Yeah, that's the closest. I mean, we've gotten hints from Nintendo that that's what they're doing, but there was no like hardcore confirmation. They just keep saying the Switch successor or the follow-up to the Switch.
Yeah, they're going to be real tight about it until they have like a full announcement.
Yeah, then they're going to come out and be like, introducing the Super Nintendo Switch.
The Super Switch Nintendo Tron 9000.
We're going to have the SNS.
I mean, that would be dope. Like, that would actually be cool if they did enough. Like, it's the SNES 2.
Yeah. Would be dope. And then let's go back to Sony for a minute. So, MacBook Pro.
Oh, boy.
So Bloodborne fans are freaking out again as PlayStation Anniversary trailer ends on Bloodborne and the phrase, "It's about persistence."
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I would get the same idea too. I'd be like, oh, they're going to do a remaster or something. They're going to re-release it with a Pro 5 patch that's going to destroy it. I mean, it's from software. It'll probably be good. I won't knock them. But I think it has more to do with the fact that they're going to be buying from software.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. Because, I mean, they want those anime companies.
Yeah, and understandably so. I mean, they have the market for it. Like, between Sony and Nintendo, like, that's, 2 halves of your market there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I don't like the idea of FromSoft being bought out by Sony. I know some people think it might be a good thing. I just don't personally think it's cool. I'm kind of tired of these megacorps buying out development studios, and it's been happening for years, but it's getting so crazy now.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they come out and just continue to release games how they were. Don't be like Xbox, which is now basically reneging on their whole thing of like, oh yeah, we're keeping these exclusive. You're not keeping anything exclusive. You can't afford to. But like Fallout, basically that they confirmed like Fallout was basically going to be Xbox only, Xbox and PC, but they can't afford to do that, so it's going to be on everything.
Yeah, because nobody's buying their trash.
Yeah.
So no, I guarantee you, dude. This is my personal guess. 5 years. Within 5 years, or maybe at 5 years, we will see Halo on the PlayStation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I don't think... I mean, Bloodborne might get a remaster. I don't know about a second one. I'll say eventually it probably will get a remaster or some sort of re-release.
I'd rather them do a sequel. Like, Bloodborne was dope, but take... Like, unless the remaster is like a remake, you know what I mean? Take what you've learned with all these games since Bloodborne and remake Bloodborne that way instead of just copy and pasting it and then upgrading the graphics.
Yep. And also officially released that guy's Bloodborne inspired kart racer that he made, because that is a beautiful looking game. You'll have to look it up. Somebody did basically a demake of it to make it look like it's running on PS1. And they had to change some things. Like, they actually worked with From Software to make it legally distinguishable.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Because they got slapped down a couple times, but they were willing to actually work with them instead of just pulling Nintendo and be like, we're suing you to oblivion.
Yeah, because
they were like, here's what you can do. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those like de-evolutions or demakes with like the PS1 style graphics where someone will take a really popular game and just like make scenes of it or basically gameplay of it as though it's on the PS1.
Yeah. See if I can find that. Nightmare Kart.
Nightmare Kart?
Yeah, put it on screen. Yeah, it's like
So-
legit a demake of it. And there's some tall guy, and he doesn't ride a bike or anything. He runs. I don't see
He
him.
just
I don't know the
runs
characters
around
well
in a
enough.
racing game.
Yeah, he runs stupid fast.
This is cool. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find a picture with that guy. I don't know. I don't play Bloodborne. I don't play many Souls-esque games. Yeah, it's some dude. It might be this person, for all I know. I don't know anything.
Probably.
But yeah. Yeah, that's a game to check out. It's on Steam.
I'm definitely going to check that out. That's going on my ever-expanding list.
Yep. Yep, the list that never gives up.
No, man, they just keep making better and better games, dude. And fewer and fewer AAA games are on my wish list. I was looking at that the other day, actually. I was going through because there's a Steam, one of the 4 Steam big sales, the fall sales going on, and I was looking at my wish list, and it's like, man, I don't think I have more than like 6 AAA games on this list, and I've got 1,767 games on my wish list.
Yeah, I know I have like 2 games I'm looking forward to. One comes out I think like next week, and I have no clue what they are.
Do you get like email notifications for them?
No, I just have to basically go on Nintendo all the time and like the eShop and see what's going on.
I said, thankfully, I get like Steam will send me an email when something that's on my wish list has released or when it's on sale. So my inbox is mostly that.
Yeah, I mean, I still get those. I get Darkwood because I said I was interested in that one years ago, and then some other action game that I don't know why I'd even say I'm interested in it. It's not my cup of tea. Lords of the Fallen, I think.
Oh, that's a Souls-like. It was okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I would say I'm interested in that.
It's probably by accident. I have that too. There's some games on my list. I'm like, when did I put this here? Like,
yeah. So today's topic, talking about some game-changing IPs, like very influential, whether it be for like influential in a good way or in a bad way. Like one of the examples I have back here, you can see his face over my picture, is John Wick. Because for an action movie, he absolutely set a new trend for how to do an action film. I mean, it's cool because those movies tend to be really awesome to watch, like visually, for the fight scenes. But then again, whenever there's a trend of any sort in media, everybody does it. Like everybody just has to do it. Everybody wants to be the MCU, even for video games, because it's the MCU.
yeah, like
But,
Vanguard.
Yeah. I mean, all of them. They all want to be like these campy things. There was another game. There's another new game that came out, and I can't think of what it is right now. But it's another one that's very, very campy. And everybody just says it's the MCU of whatever.
I'm tired of it, dude.
Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't even new. It's Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh?
Yeah, the story basically replays Mortal Kombat 11. Like, it's supposed to be a whole new resetting of the universe, essentially, but they're basically following what 11 had set up in the story and following, like, the same beats, which is strange.
Yeah.
But the story also gets very campy and MCU-ish.
With Mortal Kombat, dude?
Yep.
What?
Yep, that's how we do it.
I hate this, man. I hate this.
Yeah. Also, we have I have a little Dragon Quest dude, the main character from Dragon Quest 3. He is Dragon Quest as a whole, it's not like the first RPG. It's not even the second RPG. It's technically the third for like what people consider an RPG for a game. I can't remember the name of the first one, but then Ultima copied them and got really big. And Dragon Quest dropped like 4 or 5 months after Ultima.
Okay.
And those two together are the grandfathers of RPGs, essentially. Those two together make up what every role-playing game, like video game we play is about.
Yeah.
And like how it plays. I have Donkey Kong, which is he set more of a standard for platformers. Because I mean, there was Mario, there were other like little cheesy platformers back in the day.
Mhm.
But when you got Donkey Kong Country, you set this new craze for platformers that are more difficult. Like, I'm not going to say it's a super hard game. I'm not going to say it's the Dark Souls of platformers. It's just faster paced than Mario was. You have some more precise jumps you have to do, and there is that sense of speed. It's faster than what Sonic was, because Sonic tried to do that, but there was a lot of slowing down and stopping in Sonic, unless I'm just playing the game wrong. But I mean, that very well could be I'm trash at Sonic. Get me to those poison water levels and I'm done. I am done. Also didn't like the casino one where you're bouncing off everything like you're in a pinball table.
Oh, man.
That one was so frustrating the first few times you do it until you learn the path, and it's like, oh, I just had to do this, but I'm stupid and went this way.
That sounds unpleasant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a very influential video game, at least for Donkey Kong Country. The original Donkey Kong is a great story, because if you read the booklet to it, and I covered this in the Nintendo video because I love the story so much, that in the original story to Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong game where you first see Mario as Jumpman, the whole backstory to it of why Donkey Kong is doing all this stuff in the first place, like stealing the princess and copying King Kong, is so Mario was like a zookeeper. He had all these like exotic animals caged up, and he was just an absolute just piece of trash, just a dick to them and like abusing them. And well, Donkey Kong had enough, so he busted out of his cage, took Jumpman's love interest, and ran away and pulled some King Kong nonsense. Which, I mean, can you then say Mario's the hero of that game? I don't think so.
No, he's the villain, dude.
Yep.
Well,
and you're going after, and your whole point is to go after and recapture this poor animal. It's like, this is such messed up game.
Dude, if you look at most games from that era of gaming, they were terrible.
Yep. But then we have, I'll give this one over to you. We have for shooters, we have Master Chief.
Yeah, dude. I mean, how could you talk about game changers and not bring up the chef? I mean, like, I think I talked to you about this, or I texted you this the one day, like a week or so ago, how I didn't know this until recently, but I think it was like 2007 or something, whenever Halo 3 was like at its peak, and there were over 1 million players online concurrently for like consistently playing Halo 3. And this was like way back in the early 2000s. That is insane, because gaming was still like not young, but gaming was not the beast that it is today. And so for a shooter to have that amount of people playing concurrently in that time frame was just wild. But like, look at just if you ever want proof of how Halo, like how big and impactful Halo was back in the day, just look up the release parties in Times Square, New York City, for Halo 2 and 3. And it's like, you'd think it's New Year's if you didn't know you were looking at a Halo release, and if you didn't see all the dudes dressed up as, in sweaty Master Chief costumes. But like, it was a huge event, man. These things were crazy and massive, and it happened not even just because I went to release midnight releases for Halo. I think it was just Halo 3. I didn't get to go for 2, but I got to go for Halo 3. But the Halo franchise for 1, 2, and 3 just changed the game. They made the shooter genre after Doom. So Doom laid the foundation, and Halo came in and just totally revamped it.
Yeah, except for the fact that Marathon is better than both games.
Yeah. I mean,
and not this new Marathon that we don't know what exactly what it is, besides an extraction shooter that just has a name of a good game and made by people who made that original good game. So it's very confusing. But the original Marathon for PC, that is a beautiful game.
I like Marathon. I like that they used the towel symbol, or maybe the towel used the Marathon symbol. I don't know. I don't know who stole what, but I like Marathon, but I will always be partial to Doom and Halo. I mean, I think we've talked about it off the show before. You kind of mentioned it in the short that you did, how going back to Halo 1, 2, and 3 today, it feels out of date. That we're finally at a point where Halo feels dated.
Whoa. 1 doesn't feel dated. It's just trash. Let's clear that part up.
gotta put that hook out there. Call fishing. No, but I love 1, but I don't know how much of my love for Halo 1 is nostalgia. It could be a huge blind spot for me, like because you didn't play Halo 1 often, when you were younger and everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, I played it a little bit because I didn't own it myself. I didn't own Xbox. I played it when other people wanted me to play with them.
Okay. Yeah, which I think that's how a lot of people played Halo. Because like I remember setting up LAN parties with my friends. We'd have 2 Xboxes and we'd make a LAN connection that would go through the hallway, and each team would be in a different room, and you'd have 4v4 for multiplayer and everything. And then it was just you and one friend. You'd do campaign. But like Halo was not just a game; it was a community. And I think we're lacking that in general in the gaming industry at this point. And I don't think we'll ever see anything like it again.
Yeah, I mean, we have select few communities. It's like now it's just like a game community, and they don't follow each other over to other games. If you play No Man's Sky together, that's probably the only place you guys play No Man's Sky, like any game together, is No Man's Sky. Same thing for like shooters. Like you might have some for like the Overwatch and moving on to whatever the other ones were, because I forget all their names. Those kind of things, like again, they just stay with that game.
Yeah.
Some of them might move over with you to the next game, but you're gonna basically just stop talking to some people online because they didn't change. That's their game.
Yeah, but I mean, even within those games, and I don't know for sure, but like Halo was so expansive once they brought in Forge mode and everything. Like I'm talking more Halo 2 and 3, really in Halo 3 and 2, 3 and Reach. This is like at its peak, where like Forge mode was brought in, and you had any kind of game mode you could dream up was either made by somebody or could be made by you. So you barely even needed to play any other games. Like it was everybody just stuck together and played Halo. And like you had people rise up through the community whose names became known because they made this dope map or they invented this game mode. And it got so big that like even Bungie brought in Bungie basically made official some of the game modes that people made on their own in Forge World. It was crazy. It's hard to match at this point.
Yeah, and I think I don't know about 1, but I know 2 and 3 were part of like world game contests for like shooters.
Yeah. I don't think 1 was, because 1 they had to gain their footing with 1, and nobody knew what Halo was. It was just a console seller, effectively.
Yep. Yeah, look at you buy this box, and you're gonna get this guy in green armor,
Master Chef, and blue naked chick. Killing aliens. That's how they sold Halo 1, and it just blew up.
Yep. That's all you got to do. I mean, look at Zelda. The only reason people bought it is because they saw the picture of the Great Fairy, and it's like, oh, she's basically naked. Let's get it. I mean, it's not just me, right?
No. No, I mean it's interesting watching how a lot of these like Uber franchises, well, maybe not today with Halo because Halo's dead, but maybe not with Halo anymore. But these like Uber franchises, how they started and just, I guess it leads into it. They shook the industry. They changed everything. After these games came out, nothing was the same. After John Wick came out, nothing was the same. We got Mr. Nobody from John Wick.
Yep.
Which I love John Wick. The last movie got me by the end. It sold me by the end. But I was not sold for most of the movie. But it changed everything. You've got a whole genre of more realistic, fast-paced, gritty shooters. Movies.
Well, ones that are realistic while also being over the top and somehow pulling it off.
Yeah. Believable.
Yeah.
Even though they're
like
crazy.
There's the whole Equalizer series too.
Yeah. Wasn't that before John Wick?
No, I think it was after.
We got to look that up.
Equalizer 1. Yeah, I was looking up one night because my wife tried to say that Equalizer was the original one. Oh yeah, yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
it was many years before. Oh no, I'm not looking at Equilibrium.
Oh, Equilibrium. Oh, that's old, dude. Equalizer was 2014.
Same year. Yeah, same year.
Oh, okay. So now we got to get in a month. Although they would have been made simultaneously, so they both came out.
Yeah, Equalizer was still first, a month before.
Oh. Yeah, neither would have been influenced by the other because they were both in production at the same time. So,
yeah. But
I totally forgot about the Equalizer series. I only saw one.
Oh, they're pretty good. I believe I watched 3. I know I like 2.
And it's Denzel Washington, right?
Yep.
Dude, he's so good. He's such a good actor.
Yep.
I watched Glory the other day for the first time in years. Years, dude. You know Glory?
Yeah.
With Matthew Broderick, right?
Yep.
And then Denzel Washington and God. What's his name? God.
Google?
No, not Google. The other God. He plays God in Bruce Almighty. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
God.
It's so sad that his voice is going, his iconic voice.
That happens, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it just hit me once when I heard his voice like recently over something. And it was just like, man, he is super old now.
Yeah.
He's been around forever.
I think I noticed it like a year or two ago. I heard him in something and I was like, oh, dude, he sounds old. Like he actually sounds old now.
Yeah, I'm still just used to him from Shawshank.
Yeah. Yeah. He's another.
Yeah, it's bad. That's the movie I watched the most of him. And so that's where I'm always going to remember his voice. That or playing, he was also in another Stephen King movie. What was it? It dealt with the alien thing getting into the water. And they were in the snow. Hell. Oh, it's going to irritate me that I can't think of it.
The alien thing in the water with the snow.
Yep. Yeah, but it had Timothy Olyphant. It had that was the first movie I saw him in too.
He's so good.
Yep. Yep. Whatever it's called, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
the movie by Stephen King.
Movie. Yep. The movie with the snow, because that narrows it down.
Yeah, it's like 12 Stephen King movies with snow. Dude, I'm still waiting for an Eyes of the Dragon adaptation.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. I'm surprised they haven't done at least a HBO series or something.
Dude, I feel like nobody knows about that book besides you, me, and 12 other people on this planet, including Stephen King.
Yeah, Dreamcatcher. There we go.
Oh, okay. I never saw that one.
It's not bad. It's interesting. It's crazy. I mean, you have to go into understanding this is Stephen King. It's based off one of his things, so it's going to be a little more out there.
Yeah. Ooh, that, and I want a Cell adaptation. Did you ever read Cell?
I'm mixing Cell up with Phone Booth, but I know I have the book.
They were there's a pulse sent out through cell phones, and everybody who's using their cell phone at the time or has it on, they turn into zombies.
Yep.
That'd be dope.
Yep. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So anybody watching, if anybody sees this and wants to fund two crazy idiots to make a Cell adaptation,
yeah,
we're open. We're open to it.
It's going to be true live action.
It's going to have 3 actors. We only need $1,000.
Yeah.
Dude, I bet you, me and you could stretch $1,000 better than most production studios, though.
Yeah, we're not going to pay a bunch of people more than they need.
Yeah. So we'll just go down the street. Hey, you want $10?
Yeah.
Come
I'll
act
give
like a
them
crazy
like,
person.
yeah. And then if we make money off this movie in the end, you're going to get some more. There we go.
Yeah. It's a good deal.
Yeah. We're all going to get paid jack right now. But later, if it works out, we're all good.
Well, dude, that's basically how the first Mad Max movie happened.
Yeah.
They literally paid some people in beer.
Hey, it's all you need sometimes.
Yeah. But are there any other big game changers you could think of?
Well, I also have Titanic in the background because it set it was a game changer in two ways. One, it taught people to be more humble and not say, oh, my thing's unsinkable because you failed. But it did help lead to new innovations in shipbuilding to make sure that this nonsense never happens again, at least to try to prevent it as best they can.
Yeah, dude, the Titanic movie, straight up, it's one of like 5 Titanic movies, which most people don't even know that. There's a ton of Titanic movies that are out there. Starting
Titanic
all the way
2
back.
is the best.
Yeah, Titanic
the stupid horror
2.
movie.
Yeah. But I think the Titanic, like movies telling the story of the Titanic go all the way back to like the 20s, to the point where I think there were some survivors who were advisors on some of the earlier movies. But this adaptation in particular, not adaptation. Well, I guess it is an adaptation of a real story. This adaptation in particular just got people interested in the Titanic again on a scale that you would have never thought possible if this movie didn't happen.
Oh yeah, we had a ton of games popping up from it. It was the talk of every TV show. We got more History Channel type spin-offs going for it. It was impressive.
Yeah.
It also made Celine Dion's career just get even bigger than it already was.
Yeah. And it's led to stuff even to this day. Like there's whole YouTube channels with tons of subscribers that are focused on ship stuff or even just focused on the Titanic because that's where they started. They started with the Titanic and they go into other ship stuff or like ships that have sunk throughout history and tragic stuff like that. Or they're just focused on the Titanic. You've got the people still wanting to go down to see the Titanic and some of them joining them.
I'm going to build this cool little submarine out of paper mache. Let's see if we can do it.
You still got people joining the souls under the sea, but like it's it's still a huge cultural thing. And I think it's starting to die off, but we're talking like what, 20 plus years. This movie kicked off that 2 decades of just tons of people being interested in something that you would have never heard of if it wasn't for the movie.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you also have the people who watch things too closely and they were like, the stars aren't right. So then they had to go back and fix that.
Yeah, dude. Well,
that
and
the funniest thing.
Wasn't it James Cameron? I think it was James Cameron, right? Yeah. Yep. The filming of he was always interested in like diving and stuff like that, going to find sea wrecks and everything, but making the Titanic basically made connections for him to actually go and do more underwater exploration of stuff. And he went down in this tiny single-man submarine to the bottom of Mariana's Trench, like by himself, because of the people that he met through the Titanic. And that's actually helped with data and science and stuff like that, learning what the hell's going on down there. Like the Titanic movie is probably unironically one of the most influential things that we have in the background here.
Yeah. Yep. It's really, really impressive. It's just an impressive piece of history.
Yeah. Well, and it was, to this date, the most accurate showing / telling of the story.
Yeah, and the way the ship broke.
Yep. And now you still got people like I don't know if you heard about this. There's someone they 3D mapped the wreckage underwater, and they have a full like 3D rotatable explorable model of the exact wreckage, and it's the first time anyone has seen the entire wreck of the Titanic outside of art renditions. Like, it is the actual wreck of the Titanic in a 3D model. That was a huge thing that just happened recently, which is crazy because every picture you've seen of the wreck of the Titanic has been artwork, unless it's a photograph of like the bow or something like that.
Yeah.
But the big picture of the whole ship with the front to back 2 pieces laying on the sea, we have not been able to get a picture of that because it's too dark and we just don't have the tech. But now we could see it through 3D scanning.
Yep. Waiting for the Lego set to come out, then I'll see it.
Oh, dude. I don't know if you know this, but I'm obsessed with the Titanic. It's because of this movie, like straight up.
Yep. That movie taught me one thing: just don't go on a cruise.
Yeah, dude.
And then I also watched this movie called Speed 2, and it also taught me just don't go on a cruise. It's just a bad idea. And then COVID happened, and we had these cruise ships off the side of the coast that couldn't come onto land, and that also taught me, just never ever go on a cruise. So
dude, I just don't like cruise ships are sketchy and way too expensive. You're paying thousands of dollars to be packed in a sardine can with a bunch of people who just are oblivious to everyone else around them. Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah, sounds like fun. Great time.
I guess for boomers.
Yeah, eat the seafood. You won't get sick.
I spent 4 weeks puking on the Titanic too.
Yep. That's how it started.
I hope so.
Yeah, so overall, like, do you think we have enough game changers? Because I don't think we do. I think that we have this bad habit of constantly going through, feeding off a trend until it gets stale, and then just being like, well, I understand my horse is dead. Can I still beat it for more?
Yeah, I don't think we do. I don't think we have enough. And I think the reason for that, it's like what you said, but the reason they're doing that in these different industries is because it's safer to just follow that trend than it is to try something new. And I just don't think we have that mentality is stifling game-changing innovations in everything, not even just movies and media and games, but in tech and in everything. We have stuff that works and people don't want to innovate on that. They just want to keep making it new. We'll make the screen a little bigger, or it has a slightly higher resolution, or this is John Wick 12, or this is Halo 76 and it sucks. It's just we're getting these things that don't innovate as much as they should. With game changers, I think we're doing a disservice if we don't mention Baldur's Gate 3 too, by the way. That's a game changer.
Absolutely.
The bar was raised in terms of expectations.
That one, I think a lot of the older RPGs, or at least the older style of RPGs like that we've been seeing, are the few that do try to experiment more. Because we also had the Pillars games. Yep. You can't forget about them, because carrying barrels and throwing them later on as weapons is just a beautiful idea. Just beat everything by carrying explosive kegs. I mean, it's fantastic. They thought outside the box, and it's these few companies that do that. That are willing to try to make things just better. What else can we do?
Yeah, a lot of companies they look at a thing and they're like, okay, let's make that again, but change it just enough so people buy it. Whereas some other companies, gaming companies, etc., they say, let's make that again, but make it a totally new story and make it better in every conceivable way. And that's usually when it's a game changer. But it's also just there's a level of quality that's required for a game changer. And I think every time a new game changer comes out, that bar goes up, which makes it a little bit harder for the next one to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's we're never going to get a good motion capture game, game system, like we did with the Wii. The Wii was great. It wasn't the best thing on earth, but that thing was great, especially if you compare it to the other things we had, like the PSI. That thing wasn't the best. It would miss a lot of things you do. There was the Kinect, which is literally a joke half the time. so many games just wouldn't acknowledge anything you're doing, and that was fun. So much fun with that one.
Good at catching ghosts, though.
Yeah, it's great for that. It serves a purpose.
Oh, and it's racist.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I mean, iPhone was racist at first too when it started doing the face unlock.
Yeah, dude. What the hell? I almost forgot about that until you mentioned the Kinect. I just try to block most Xbox products past the 360 out of my mind.
Yeah, that was 360.
What? No, it wasn't. That was one.
Thought it came out with the 360 and then moved on to the one and became like a more focus for the one.
Did it? If it did, that's gonna blow my mind. Hold on. Xbox.
I could be wrong. I thought it was for the 360 though.
Because I thought it was a big selling point for the one.
Yeah, it was. That's how they wanted you to control the one at first. Was basically just use motion controls. Just wave your hand, clap, and jump around, and you'll do different things with it. And it's like, no, thank you.
I guess it did start with a 360. Shit. I didn't even know that.
Next, I think the PlayStation's thing started with the PS2. Like late PS2, and then they did Move or whatever they called their Joy-Con things with the PS3.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. It legit started with the 360. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking back on it, I think I remember like there was like one kid that I knew who had a Kinect with his 360. But it was such a stupid novel thing that like nobody thought about it.
Yeah. It was a gimmick. And like the Switch's whole, or it's not Switch, the Wii's whole thing was that it was a gimmick system, but it took a gimmick and was like, we're gonna make it good.
Yeah. Well, dude.
Or good enough.
There's only one game you need with the Wii. And it came with the Wii.
Yep.
Wii Sports.
Yep. Best game ever.
It's legit the best.
It's the best selling it's the best selling Nintendo game.
Really?
Wii. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was that. I could have it backwards, but I'm pretty sure that's the one.
It was a great game. That's really the only thing I ever played on the Wii. Well, outside of that, what's it called? Zombie U or whatever, that like British zombie game.
Yeah, that was apparently not very good, but it looked interesting.
Yeah, no, I think it's better not on the Wii, but on the Wii it kind of sucked.
Yeah. Yep. It just looked like such a cool little idea at first.
It was just badly executed.
Yep. But yeah, I think the only place outside of like those few game studios that do something like actually innovative, I would say would be maybe music.
Yeah.
Because it has its flows. Like we're back into the country stage of music where everything's going to go country again. I don't know why this is a thing that's doing again. It was annoying the first time they did that, like what, 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
15 something. That was just horrendous. So they're doing it again. And I guess it's better. I mean, the last time we had this happen was we had a crossover go backwards and we got Taylor Swift from country over to pop. So maybe now we're going to, we are giving people over to country. Now we're giving Post Malone over to country. So
yeah. Well, and Mariah Carey too, right?
Or
was it Beyonce? Yeah, Beyonce. Yeah, who just had like a top-selling country album.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's going back to country.
Yep, it's weird, but I mean, for overall, at least for music, they do sometimes innovate. Once they stop this whole going back to country phase, they innovate, and it gets interesting. It might not be like the biggest innovation. Like we had some horrible ones too. We had the overuse of what's the vocal correction thing?
Auto-tune. Yep.
Yeah, with the overuse of that, which got really annoying. It was cool when the first guy did it, but then everybody wanted to do it, and it was just like, okay, I'm tired of this. This guy can sing, and he uses it because it's a novel thing. Other people do it because you can't sing, and you figure, well, if I sound like trash, I'm just going to make myself sound more like trash.
Yeah,
robotic trash.
It's not fun, and everybody uses it at this point. It just comes down to like how much you use it.
Yeah.
And it could very quickly become too much.
Yeah. Yeah. The heavy use of it, I can't stand. Cannot stand it. Yeah, like we have people took like punk and like 60s, 50s pop rock and made pop punk.
Yep.
And like that's a super awesome thing to do. You still take like that I don't even what you like angstiness of punk rock, but then like the listenable, I guess more mainstream listenable music.
The like easy side.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just makes a beautiful combination. And that's something that, you know, back in the day, you probably wouldn't have. I mean, there's still people who listen to just punk, like classic punk, like the Ramones and Sex Pistols and stuff like that, who are just, they call themselves like punk purists because that's all they'll listen to. And it's like, well, you're very close-minded because that's how a genre is never going to grow. If you just stay in one little bubble, it's never going to grow. So you might have pop punk bands doing rap songs, like Up, Up and Away by whatever band covered that song. It was beautiful, and especially to even have the dude come on and do a part on the song was even better.
Yeah, that's dope. I like when they like crossing genres and stuff can be pretty cool. And that's usually when we see real innovation in music. But it's just rare that it's actually good.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Sometimes you get gold. A lot of times you get trash.
Unfortunately, yeah. Sorry if you hear something in the background. My cat decided to start digging in a litter box.
Nice. Lovely times.
I'm trying to mute her, but she has a tendency to think that there's litter on the walls.
Well, yeah,
of the litter box.
All right, let's move on to something that I don't think was trash at all. Let's talk about our movie.
Yes.
So we watched yesterday. But we didn't watch it yesterday. Yeah, we watched it today. Watched yesterday today. And I mean, this felt like one of the most fitting movies to do because game changing. You have the Beatles, who are just massively influential on music in general.
Yeah.
And this movie might overdo it a bit, but to people who love the band, and especially when they were younger, like back in the day, they loved the Beatles when they were still alive.
Yep.
They could probably see it from the movie's point of view. And I completely get that because they were massive. It's like if Elvis was gone. One of the things they do in the movie is there's no Coke, there's only Pepsi, which is just mind-blowingly insane. Like
that's hell.
That's a bad world.
That's hell.
There were like no cigarettes, like just weird things like that. But they covered the movie they covered the inspiration the band had on the world pretty well. Like they have other musical celebrities saying like how amazing it is, like how great these songs are. Because if they're the first times you ever heard them, yeah, they're good. They're very solid music. Yeah. Like whether you like the band or not, you can at least say like, hey, they have good music. I guess
they're talented.
That's not my cup of tea. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't like the Beatles, but I will never say that they're not good. I mean, because without them, trash. Without them, everything that I love musically wouldn't exist. So just like it's just a fact.
Yeah, dude, listening to this, I was sitting there thinking like, man, Blink-182, like their inspirations might be other bands, but I think their main inspiration is the Beatles.
Yeah. You could trace all great bands that are out today back to the Beatles, not the Eagles.
To Hotel California.
It's a Hotel California. No, but you could trace them back to the Beatles, man. Like especially if it's rock or punk and stuff like that. That it all goes like all roads lead to Rome. All punk leads to the Beatles.
Yep. Yeah. So this movie, I'm surprised. I didn't see the scores for it earlier when I pulled this up, but so they got a 6.8 on IMDb. They got a 63 on Rotten Tomatoes, and TV Guide, which I didn't know was still a thing, gave it 55%.
Which is weird.
Yeah, I loved this movie. Like I thought it was really good, but then again, I am a Beatles fan, so I was kind of excited to listen to Beatles music. And then after I finished watching the movie, I instantly went on YouTube and played some Beatles music. Yeah, I think this movie was really good. The cast was fantastic. The plot of it was very interesting because what if you did wake up in a world where like there was no Taylor Swift?
Yep.
All these Swifties would have never have known about her. And then one of these Swifties could come along and like play one of her songs. And everybody would be like, well, that's the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It would like, I'm not a Beatles fan. But I really liked the movie. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was a good, stupid comedy. Like it's a good British comedy, you know,
Yeah.
where it's kind of dry and just weird. It's very weird sometimes, but I definitely liked it. It was cool to hear Beatles songs done. Like they kind of did it in a way where, you know, if the Beatles happened today, which is this guy who's a modern musician and he remembers the songs and he performs them with his own kind of twist, a lot of acoustic stuff too. Which I love acoustic. So yeah, I mean, and like just the story was good. It was interesting to pick up like little things through conversations that have just vanished, like Coke or smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like, things like that. But yeah, it was a good movie. I don't think it deserved that 55. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one I suggest watching. It's listed as a musical. And I mean, it kind of is because he's performing Beatles songs, but I don't think it's like overly musical, like a Disney animated movie would be, or Chicago or Cats, anything like that. It's really good. It's evenly balanced. Cause if it was just a plain basic musical, unless it's Gene Kelly dancing in the rain, I really don't care. It's not my cup of tea.
Calling this a musical is totally inaccurate. Like a musical has to have like music that is sung and performed by the cast that's integrated into the story itself. You know what I mean? This has none of that. It's just him doing concerts. So it's like the Cash movie. It's just they have some concert scenes or the Elvis movie, you know, maybe not like the Elvis movie, but it's the same kind of vein. It's not a musical at all. It's like a fake biopic.
Yeah. Yep. And it's really good. They have it plays out really well. I don't want to say anything else too much about it, but it plays out very well. And one moment was really cool to see.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the credits rolling. I highly recommend this one. I give it like at least like a high 70s, maybe 80s, like low 80s. I'm not gonna say it's a 10 out of 10.
Oh, no. I'd give it like a solid 75. That's what I'd give it.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Yeah, definitely not 55.
No.
Yep. All right. And that leaves us with one last thing. I sent you the link in private chat because I think I did the last one.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So we're going to be doing the other SCP that I mentioned at the end of last week, SCP 952, not to be confused with the one we did last week of SCP 952.
Yeah, there's SCP 952 and then there's SCP 952. Hold on. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. Is that good zoom wise?
Let me maximize. Going just a little bit.
How do I do that again?
The 3 dots on the top corner.
Hold on. I'm stupid.
You were just right below it. Go up past favorites.
Zoom. There we go. What is it? 250?
Yep. There you go. That's good.
That's good. Okay. All right. I can't read. So SCP-952, the Jack of Hearts. Last time we talked about that math rock chick, right?
Oh, you cut out for a second for me at least. Last time we talked about the lady who was SCP-952 who was being investigated for the music that she wrote and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then how she killed somebody and killed herself and hibbity hoo, all that fun stuff. So we will get into. Should I do the description first, like normal?
Yeah.
All right. So we got SCP-952 is a humanoid male appearing to be in his late teens to early 20s who identifies himself as the Jack of Hearts. SCP-952 is described as being 170 centimeters in height, 5 foot 6 inches, and approximately 65 kilograms in weight, 143 pounds, with shoulder-length curly blonde hair and blue eyes. Cohorts of SCP-952 have described him as being charming, thoughtful, and funny. However, they have difficulty remembering any exact wording he may have used during conversation. A number have also remarked on unusually large genitalia. Okay, that took a turn. Okay.
He's very charming and he has a huge package.
Our dude's, he hangs. But the entity migrates frequently through civilian channels, but without any seeming means of financial support. SCP-952 is believed to have normal needs for food, shelter, and personal care. It is suspected that its persuasive skills allow it to sustain this lifestyle through manipulation of unsuspecting civilians. SCP-952's interaction with civilians. When SCP-952 enters a town, it will find a human with no romantic ties who has yet to parent a child. There appears to be a preference for individuals who rarely engage in sexual congress, though this is not an absolute requirement. Soon after introduction, a rapid seduction and short-term impassioned relationship will form. Initial conversation is casual and often includes discussions about food, music, and other popular art. There appears to be no specific preference for gender or personality. Previous cohorts of SCP-952 include a significant minority of males and members of gender and sexual minorities. Within days, the pair will engage in intercourse, leading to pregnancy in most cases. SCP-952 will vanish soon after, rarely with any proper goodbye. Civilians impregnated by SCP-952 more often than not choose to keep the child. All persons who share impassioned nights with SCP-952 universally receive a mark on their person at some point during their encounter. Often appearing on the wrist, this mark is of a heart with the letter J in the middle. All have described positive experiences as far as Foundation interrogation experts can tell, genuine affection for SCP-952. Each has maintained that SCP-952 has formed an honest relationship with them. These feelings do not seem to be anomalous, and cohorts do not idealize SCP-952. Many will not forgive being abandoned so soon after their experience, and many carry conflicted resentment towards SCP-952 to some degree. The Foundation has no reason to believe that cohorts of 952 have been duped or altered by the entity. Individuals otherwise capable of pregnancy or otherwise incapable of pregnancy are capable of becoming pregnant by SCP-952. That's terrifying. Okay. This phenomenon comes with obvious risks to the expecting parent's health. These pregnancies are usually easily removed with similar surgical strategies as benign tumors. However, they are variable most of the time. Progeny of SCP-952. The offspring sired by SCP-952 have a gestation period of 7 months. When born, infants appear humanoid with the addition of a heavy covering of fur on their legs, short horns on their brow, and cloven hooves instead of feet. DNA analysis shows that 70% of the genome is shared with humans at this stage of life, with the rest as of yet unidentified. They sound like, what are they called? The succubi from The Witcher, actually. Like they're fawns almost,
Yeah.
But these features are gradually shed and lost as the offspring grows older, with this approximate timeline: 2 months Fur on lower body is shed, with skin tone shifting to match the rest of the body. At 3 months, horns are shed, leaving no trace on upper brow. Horns crumble to dust within 1 week. At 5 months, hooves are shed, with fully formed human feet beneath. Shed hooves crumble within 1 week. Over the course of this timeline, the offspring's DNA appears to alter through unknown means to match the human genome. By 6 months of age, SCP-952-B instances are indistinguishable from normal human infants. Beyond the above detailed metamorphoses, these offspring have shown no deviations from normal human growth patterns and do not appear to share any of the reported anomalies possessed by SCP-952. Other known information. Embedded agents have recovered a not insignificant archive of civilian security footage that includes SCP-952 universally in public venues. It has been noted to participate frequently in civilian musical experiences, though records containing SCP-952 are only noticed days after the events are over. In a vast majority of sightings, SCP-952 attends with his, quote, date, the aforementioned subject of his seduction. Roughly 1/5 to 1/4 of sightings do not appear to include any civilian cohort alongside SCP-952 at all. These events, attended by SCP-952, tend to feature live musical acts, with a slight preference for outdoor venues. Genre does not seem to matter, though in sightings where 952 has no known civilian cohort typically feature string and percussive instrumentation. In smaller towns and cities, SCP-952 is known to attend more underground venues with smaller audiences. In larger cities and venues, SCP-952 favors large events with expansive production values. Civilian victims of SCP-952 universally agree on having had phenomenal experiences during these events and attribute that to SCP-952's presence. During the late spring to early summer, SCP-952 has been known to attend outdoor festivals that revolve around food and drink, with a heavy preference towards seasonal markets and wine. Then there's some related events. It's avoided contact or capture. And it's traveling in the American Midwest. Should be captured.
Nice.
What is this? A new program has been introduced as a software update to ultrasound machine tests that will both inform us of the presence of developing offspring and mask their presence to civilian medical professionals. At present, no offspring have been found outside of North America. That being said, the aforementioned software has been installed in most machines across Southern Europe, Australia, and parts of Southern Africa. A proposition to screen material blood tests for signs of SCP-952-B development has been accepted, and an update will be attached to currently existing screenings in North America that decrees SCP hibbity-hobbity something. Males who encounter SCP-952 must be checked and treated with haste. See attached documentation, quote, SCP-952 screening and action plans, unquote, for further details. Offspring attributed to SCP-952, SCP-952-B-XX, are to be allowed to come to term and retrieved through standard procedure. Upon arrival at Site-17, the presiding researcher in charge of SCP-952's case will determine if the offspring are to be kept in containment or terminated. And there it is, SCP-952.
Whoa, okay. So you mentioned that thing about males need to be cautious about them. So I went down to the footnotes. Two separate instances of SCP-952-B have been successfully delivered to civilian fathers. In both cases where the civilian survived, recovery was unusually swift and unpredictably complete.
Oh? So they rapidly heal.
Yeah, they had a baby. I don't know where it came out of. That's very scary. But yeah, they healed. They didn't die.
It came out of the dick.
That's what I'm kind of afraid of. That sounds terrible.
Well, no, didn't it say that they like extract them like a tumor? Basically, that's how they prefer to do it. So, like, if one of us got impregnated by this thing, they would take it out of us when it's still like a zygote or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, these two gave birth to it.
Oh yeah, true. I guess it did say they gave birth.
Yeah.
The anus. It'll come from the anus.
Yeah.
It makes its way down the anal canal and plops itself right out.
Yep.
Maybe it's considerate, you know?
So next week, we are going to talk about, I'll share it really quick. Wasn't going to, because I don't want to go too much into it, but we're going to talk about SCP-2800, which sounds like it's going to be interesting. It's another humanoid thing. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Looking forward to that one. But yeah, that's pretty much what we had for this week. We have videos coming out. We have some shorts that surprisingly didn't do too well. I was shocked by that one. I was hoping people were gonna like watch them and get raged out and comment, but no. I didn't get anything. That was very shocking, especially since I call out a big game.
No views.
We both call out big games.
Some hit, some miss. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, we have other videos coming out that are out. Check those out. We will be back again on Monday, whatever the next Monday is, the 9th, with a conversation about video games, about the video game awards. That's one that I've been looking forward to this episode. So definitely come check that one out. And until next time, you take care.
Stay safe.